Okay, so today for our sellers, we're talking about what's the best time to sell. So we're going to talk about the different times of year that we look at selling homes and what that can mean for you as a seller.
So, real estate agents are an interesting bunch because they will tell you that every time is a good time to
Yes, they
sell.
will tell you the best time of the year to sell your home is now.
Yes, they always have these advertisements that say the best time to buy is now, the best time to sell is now. There is never a bad time for a real estate agent to tell you that.
Well, there's never a bad time to do
Yes,
either of those things if you listen to most real estate agents, because you're a
right.
real estate agent. So,
I guess you should understand why an agent would tell you that.
mhm.
You could sell your property now. I think that they're saying that the best time to sell now is because you could get rid of the property if you wanted to at
Mhm.
this time. Now, whether or not it's going to work as far as your financial needs, whether or not it's going to work for your deadline needs, those things are different than whether or not you could sell right now.
Mhm.
So I think that that's why real estate agents say that. Just like a buyer could buy all throughout the year. A lot of
But what does that
buyers,
mean, right? If
right?
you buy in the wintertime, you're looking at less inventory. If you buy in the springtime, you're looking at more competition. So yes, you can sell anytime, but there are a few caveats. And so we're going to talk about what that means.
Now, the seasons do mimic the school year more than it mimics the time of the year. The school year mimics the seasons. And so now I guess that's why people kind of get it kind of mixed up. And so we see a lot of people trying to time their move to coincide with, okay, great, my kid gets out of school at the beginning of June. So I would like to be out of the house or at least have it sold by the middle of June.
Mhm.
And so then they kind of work backwards. Or they say to themselves, you know what? I missed the spring market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move around Christmas time so that my kid can then go into school the second half of the year into a new school, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of the market is predicated around that. And then we have the leasing market, right? Because a lot of our first time home buyers are moving in from a rental property.
Mhm.
And so their leases are also tied to the school system because the property managers want to make sure that they are able to market their product to the highest number of available clients. One thing we see from our buyer clients, and this is important for sellers, is that while the spring market, we start to see more activity in February, March timeframe, a lot of those buyers don't plan on actually purchasing a property until like April, May timeframe because
Mhm.
their leases aren't up until June timeframe, right?
Mhm.
So they really use that February, March timeframe as almost like a discovery time to kind of learn the market, learn the neighborhoods. And this is why you see so much activity, but you're probably wondering, like, I didn't get that many offers. Spring sellers are similar to spring buyers where they have been planning on this process.
Mhm.
And that means that spring sellers have been getting their property ready ever since the wintertime.
Mhm.
So a lot of our spring clients have started doing their decluttering, painting, repairs, any kind of deferred maintenance. They start that process in the wintertime. Now, there is this idea that, okay, great, if you're going on in the spring, you really don't want to be selling your house during the holiday season. That's really not true to the degree of you're kind of getting your property ready and you want to get the most amount of money possible. To maximize your profit, there is some level of planning. Yes, you can. If the market is just like the last 2 years when properties were just flying off the market, there were a lot of sellers who were putting their houses on the market in any kind of condition whatsoever. It just didn't matter.
Mhm.
But that is not a normal market. And you want to prepare yourself to just participate in a normal market, even though this coming spring is going to be aggressive. You still want to plan to put your house on the market. That means doing any deferred maintenance, making sure that the house shows well, because properties that show well just attract more buyers.
Yes.
Buyers are less hesitant about placing offers. Next season we have is summertime. So summertime, the clients I see coming on the summertime usually miss the spring market.
Mhm.
They were really busy at work or they had some family conflict and they just couldn't meet that that spring deadline. So now
Mhm.
they're like, oh my goodness, I want to at least get the back tail end of the spring market, which is the market when we have the most transactions.
Yeah. Now we do tend to see the summer market start to slow down around that mid-July, August timeframe. So even though you're still in summer, you have to continue with families traveling. Also, some buyers are going to back out of the market if they weren't able to secure a property, let's say by the end of June, early
Right.
July. They're just going to go ahead and say, you know what, school year is about to start. We haven't solidified anything. We haven't found a property, because you have to think is in Fairfax County, our school year is inching further and further up. So if they haven't been able to secure a property by that time, a lot of buyers are just going to buy bow out because they're not optimistic about being in a new property by the first day of the new school year.
All right, so the next season we have is fall winter season. So the way fall winter season works is as soon as the kids get back into school, like 2 weeks after school starts, the market picks up again because now the homeowners or the parents can now focus on the next task. It seems like what I'm noticing is that people have limited amount of focus, and the kids take up so much energy that they cause you to say, you know what, I don't want to take on 2 tasks at one time. So once my kid gets back into school to get settled in, then we see the fall season pick back up, and we're going to have like an uptick of homes hit the market like this, like the second or third week that school begins, and that's going to run all the way up until a week or 2 after Halloween. And we start to see things start to dip down right before
the holiday season.
Yeah.
And as the holidays come around, you're going to see fewer properties come on the market, which for some sellers is a good thing because there is significantly less competition during the fall winter time. But as we've seen in the numbers earlier, days on market do tend to accumulate and rack up because you're going to have fewer buyers in the market. So homes have to be priced to sell more in the fall winter time. We're going to see more, especially in the winter, we're going to see more sellers who have to sell. They have a deadline. There's a reason they have to sell. They can't wait 6 months for spring market. They can't wait 3 months even for, the official, really like the February spring market to start. But another thing we see in the wintertime is listings come off the market. So not so much around Thanksgiving, but we will see a number of sellers pull their homes during the holiday season. So maybe around mid-December,
Right.
we see a lot of properties are withdrawn, not because the seller is no longer interested in selling, but they're just going to take their house off the market during the Christmas, New Year time frame for a couple of reasons. It could be because they're not really optimistic about getting an offer during the holidays, but also because they just want to enjoy the holidays with their family and they don't want to have to deal with the constant upkeep of having the home together during the holiday season. If they have kids, your kids are out of school. So if you're in the winter market and it's the holidays and more people are in and out of the home, it can just be too hectic.
Now, do you have to wait? No, you don't have to wait for these unique times of the year. But if you want to make the most amount of money, the spring market is the time to make the most amount of money. That's usually when we see record sales numbers. That's when we see the most aggressive buyers. If you miss that time period, then you just have to deal with or come to terms with the fact that you're just not going to make as much money in the springtime.
Yes, because a well-priced home will sell in any season.
Let's talk about the 3 ways to price your home. So there is quote unquote correctly or at the market value. That means that your property is going to probably sit on the market anywhere from 1 to 2 months, right? So this means that buyers know that the property is priced well, but you also have competition that you're dealing with. If you want to sell your property quickly, and that's under a month, then you're going to price it below market value, so slightly below the competition. And when we say market value, we're really talking about the other homes that are just like your property that a buyer could choose. That means that it's similar conditions, similar location, similar offerings. If your property isn't updated, you can't compare your property to an updated property because a buyer who's looking at your property and it's not updated already has thought to themselves, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to do this, and
I have to
that.
replace the flooring in here. I have to replace the counters, the cabinets, because oftentimes what we have with sellers is they'll say, well, I have the same model, particularly with townhomes and condos.
All right, the last way you can price your property is above the market value. So that's somebody who's testing the market. You're not really concerned about the amount of time it's going to spend on the market, your home is going to spend on the market. For those individuals, going on the market is almost like a recreational activity, right? It's just like, I'm gonna put
Let's
the
see how it
sign
goes.
and let's just see how it goes. You should have no timeline in mind for somebody who's priced above the market, because you really need somebody who loves your home to see your home and appreciate it. And unless most properties are really not that different or unique to cause you to want to quote unquote love the home.
But what I always say is you only need one.
Right.
So it only takes one buyer to want your property. And in this current market, as far as to talk about these 3 ways to price your home, this is referring to a traditional market or a balanced market. In the current market, we're seeing most homes, or we will continue to see most homes sell.
That's true. That's true. So that was question number 3. What's the best time to sell